This is after running 100 miles.
Someone else get this.
Don't recommend it. Looks rather painful.
I'm gonna retire from running.
Don't believe it.
When people ask me why I decided to run 100 miles, I don't know what to tell them. Maybe that's because I don't know for sure myself why I did it. It probably has something to do with the fact that I really enjoy running. My idea of a perfect start to a day is to run 1 or 2 hours just as the sun is coming up. But I'm sure that isn't the only reason, because after I've traveled 30 or 40 miles on foot, the joy of running starts to wear pretty thin. Maybe I did it because I like big challenges, and 100 miles seemed like the next thing to try after I completed the JFK 50 miler in 2019. Or maybe I did it because my brother did it first. If he could finish a rugged 100-mile course with over 14,000 feet of elevation gain, then surely this office dweller could complete 100 miles on a flat course. I at least had to find out if it was possible. So originally I had signed up to run the Greenbrier Ultra's 100 miler in Boonesboro, Maryland. Unfortunately, we found out in late January that the race had been canceled due to COVID restrictions. And not wanting to forfeit all the training I had done so far, I decided to run 100 miles on my own.
Now 1 mile in, so that means 99 to go. How hard can it be, right? The strategy as far as pacing is going to be pretty simple. I'm just planning to run the pace that would be necessary to finish the 100 miles in 24 hours. So that's going to be a very slow pace to begin with, about 14-minute miles. And so I'll have to build in some pauses and some walks just to stay on that pace, because I obviously normally would go a good bit faster than that. But hopefully what that'll do is keep my legs fresh for a lot longer, and therefore in the later miles I won't have to deal with as much suffering as I would if I would start out faster. Now in the later parts of the race, I'm sure that it will be very hard to maintain that pace. Even though it's easy now, it'll be difficult later. I may not be able to finish in 24 hours. In fact, it may be closer to 30 if a few things go wrong, which certainly could, considering that I'm going 100 miles.
For a course for my 100-mile run, I decided to use the 25-mile section of the C&O Canal between Hancock and Williamsport, Maryland. I would run from Hancock to Williamsport and then come back, and that'd give me 50 miles, and then I would do the same thing again to get to 100. A nice feature of this course is that roughly halfway between those points, you could take a short road detour and get to an Exxon station, which was open 24 hours, so that would serve as an aid station.
I've gone about 9.5 miles, and I'm actually going to leave the tow path for a couple miles and travel the road, because that's the only way to get to the Exxon station in Big Pool.
Well, I just got out of the Exxon station and I got some water to refill my water bottles. I got a chicken fajita tornado and I got a ice cream sandwich, which is already gone. My first crew checkpoint was at Williamsport at mile 25, and my family was there, and I was well ahead of my pace, so I took about 10 minutes to eat some food and rest a bit before I headed back toward Hancock. That is deafening. Wow. I'll blast your drums out. Well, it's just over 40 miles and I'm back at the Exxon aid station. Gonna grab a few things to drink and get back on the trail. Halfway. I saw a big brown billy goat. I wasn't hallucinating either.
Yeah, I heard.
I said, what in the world? That's a big dog. And this thing was big. It was, it come up to your armpits almost. I mean, if he was nasty, it wouldn't have ended well.
Well, being as you were only 30 miles in, I'd say it was probably a billy goat.
Yeah.
If it was 80 miles in, it could have been anything, probably.
I blinked a couple times just to make sure that it wouldn't disappear, but it was real. Well, I've gone about 72 miles. It's 4:12 a.m. and just trying to keep up with Ty. About 4 miles to go to Williamsport, and then Dan will start to pace me at that point and we'll head back the other way. Still feel fine as far as energy. Stomach feels good. Haven't had any trouble with fighting sleep. But the legs are pretty much shot, ready to be done.
See if we can make them last another 30 miles or so.
Mile 75 was probably the lowest point mentally of the run. I was still on pace, but the hamstrings on my right leg had started to tighten up, and that was making it difficult to maintain the pace. I was too stubborn to quit, but I was pretty discouraged about the fact that I would be running for another 6 hours. The whole crew was waiting for us at McCoy's Ferry, which was at mile 87, and by this time mentally I was in a little better spot, but my body was completely shot and ready to be done. I knew if I wanted to finish in less than 24 hours I could only spend a minute or two there. So I sat down long enough to clear a few things out of my pack that I didn't need, got some Cliff Blocks and some water, and then I took the egg sandwich that Crystal had made for me, and Landry and I headed down the path toward the finish line.
Bringing it home. Watch is just about ready to switch over to 100 miles. Welcome center just up ahead. Crew is waiting there for us. I'm ready to go home. We got it downhill.
100 miles, sub 24.
Got a medal out of it.